We're all looking for that shortcut to wisdom, that one program or that one book that promises to just flip a switch and make us masters of our own
Right,
minds.
the instant fix.
Exactly. But what if the real shortcut isn't a shortcut at all? What if it's this massive two-part process? First, this profound inner revolution, and
And
then
then adopting a whole new set of mental frameworks, a mind that can think like a chess grandmaster 1 minute and then,
Yeah.
calculate the diameter of the galaxy the next.
that dual challenge, total self-mastery and cosmic understanding, that's really at the heart of what we're getting into today.
It is. We are doing a deep dive into an absolutely extraordinary piece of work. It's The Legend Mind, From Zero to Infinity, by the author SKR, who is also Sonu Kumar.
And this book is, well, it's ambitious. That's probably an understatement.
It's a comprehensive synthesis of ancient wisdom, very specific self-improvement techniques, and a whole host of proprietary cosmic theories that are unique to the author.
It's dedicated to his immortal guru, the Lord Shiva, and he frames it as an eye-opening guide. It's not a textbook. It feels like it's driven purely by his own really deep, curious questions about, well, everything.
That's a great way to put it. So our mission today is really to unpack that synthesis for you. We're going to explore his ideas on everything from self-help and spirituality to his unique take on math, cosmology, and even nation building.
It's a complete system. So let's lay out the roadmap for everyone. We're going to follow the structure that SKR himself laid out.
Right, across 4 core units.
We'll start at the very beginning, Unit 0. This is all about the foundation, self-improvement, how the mind works.
Then we climb up to Unit 1, which details the 10 legendary mindsets he believes are essential for mastery.
And once we've got that internal balance down, we zoom way out. Unit 2 delves into his unique, and I mean really unique, theories on the universe, on mathematics, infinity.
And then finally, we bring it all back down to earth with Unit 3, where he lays out what he calls the 5 diamonds of nation building.
Okay. It's a journey from the self to the cosmos and back again. Let's start our journey from 0 to infinity. All right, so Unit 0, the foundation of self-improvement and wisdom. SKR gets right to the heart of the problem, doesn't he?
He really does. He starts with what he sees as the central challenge of being human. Our minds have unlimited desires.
Food, clothes, money, travel. The list is endless.
Exactly. And because that list is endless, it's incredibly difficult to choose the best path, the one that leads to actual long-term fulfillment instead of just chasing the next shiny object.
This leads him to this core equation he presents right at the start.
Mind equals desire of soul. It's so simple, but it's the bedrock of the whole philosophy.
So the mind isn't the problem, really. It's just the messenger.
Precisely. The mind is just expressing what the soul craves. So if you want to get a handle on your mind, you have to go to the source. You have to control the desire. And for SKR, that control begins with the most fundamental thing we do every day. Eating. It all comes back to food.
Which brings us to this ancestral rule he talks about. The Sanskrit is JSLKVUKOSLKU.
Which translates simply to as the food, so the mind. But the implication he draws from it is profound. He says, point blank, our mind depends upon the type of food we take, whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian.
This isn't just a health recommendation. This is the foundational, ethical, and mental choice you have to make.
It's everything. And the reason he makes it so absolute is what he calls the multiple minds theory.
Okay, let's unpack that. He uses a tree analogy,
Yeah.
right?
Your body is the tree. And all those desires we talked about, the new phone, the fancy car, the vacation, those are the leaves, the fruits, the flowers. They're the output.
Okay.
Now, if you introduce non-vegetarian food, you are by definition causing the death of a creature, a fish, a hen, a goat, whatever it may be.
And the consequence of that action isn't just, physical, it's metaphysical.
It's deeply metaphysical. The source material argues that these creatures, they had souls. And because they had souls, they had individual minds. And when they were killed for you to eat,
Wait, let me make sure I'm getting this right, because this is a radical claim. Their minds, their souls, literally get added to your own.
that is precisely the theory. The act of consumption integrates their multiple souls, their individual minds, into your own single mind.
So you're not just you anymore. You're a committee.
You're a committee. Your body, he says, becomes like a clown, operated by this new group of external added souls. And the result is a total loss of personal, centralized control.
Which would explain the behaviors he lists. The aggression, the anger over small things.
Uncontrolled aggression, unlimited desires, and inability to make a strong personal decision. You think that overwhelming desire for more money is yours, but he argues it's a composite desire. It's driven by these conflicting, aggressive, multiple minds you've absorbed.
That puts his comparison table into a very sharp focus. The non-vegetarian is listed as aggressive and cruel, working for mere information, while the vegetarian is calm, composed, and works for genuine knowledge.
It's the difference between internal chaos and internal order. The entire argument is about maintaining a single, strong, centralized intelligence.
And he even takes it a step further, doesn't he? Even within vegetarianism.
Oh, yes. For the absolute highest level of mental concentration, he says the food must be obtained without external force.
Meaning, not even plucked.
Not plucked. Naturally fallen fruit, vegetables that have completed their cycle. The idea is to minimize any forced action, because that action itself requires an expenditure of mental energy to process. It's an extreme level of purity.
Okay, so once the mind is controlled through diet, then we can start climbing the ladder toward wisdom.
Now you're ready. And he has a very clear definition of wisdom. It's the process you use to convert raw information into actual knowledge.
The key being that it's a process, not a thing.
Exactly. And he uses this beautiful milk analogy to explain it. Milk, he says, is the raw information. It's just there.
Right.
The products you derive from it, the curd, the cheese, the butter, that's the knowledge. Valuable transformed products.
And the process. The churning, the heating, the waiting.
That is wisdom. Wisdom is the active process of transformation.
So to start climbing that ladder, the first step is actually pretty disruptive. Step 1, skip the lists of attraction.
This is about recognizing the monkey mind for what it is.
Yeah.
The lists of attraction are what keep most people perpetually busy, chasing multiple clothes, assets, jewelry, just accumulating things.
He says this keeps people acting like confused kids in a toy shop.
It does. Even well into adulthood, people are just seeking the next toy to give them a temporary hit of happiness. And that pursuit, it never actually ends.
And he connects this directly to crime, which is a huge leap.
It's a profound connection. He argues this childlike, obsessive pursuit of transient, precious items, the luxury car, the latest gadget, unnecessary amounts of money, is the root cause of negative activity and crime across the globe.
Because people will do anything to acquire the next toy.
Precisely. They become exploiters, thieves, gamblers. The source material suggests that even the super rich are often just seen as inspirational because they have the biggest and best toy collections. Wisdom means seeing the game for what it is and choosing to stop playing.
That's a powerful idea. And that sets us up for step 2.
Step 2. Allow neutral or zero view.
This is the goal of inner balance.
It's a state of perfect equilibrium. He compares it to finding the exact right amount of salt or sugar in a dish. Not too much, not too little. It has to be just right.
A zero mindset.
The zero mindset. It's where you can observe both the positive and negative aspects
Yeah.
of a situation, a person, anything. But you stop yourself from slapping a label on it. You stop judging.
You just see it as it is.
The ultimate expression of this is silence, maintaining a neutral, silent state of mind and only speaking when it is absolutely necessary.
Because that silence, that neutrality, allows for the final step. Step 3, build observational skill.
Yes. Once the mind is calm, single, and neutral, it becomes this powerful tool for observation. You become both the teacher and the student at the same time.
And this is how real breakthroughs happen.
It is. He gives the classic examples. Aryabhata discovering the concept of zero, or Newton defining gravity. What were they doing? They were just quietly, deeply observing something that everyone else had seen but never truly looked at.
Because their minds were too cluttered with those lists of attraction.
Exactly. Their minds were too noisy. Wisdom is about turning that powerful, quiet observation, both inward and outward, to gain knowledge that others miss.
So once we know how to achieve wisdom, we have to talk about the quality of the raw material we're working with. Which brings us to information versus knowledge.
He spends a good amount of time on the DIKW model data, information, knowledge, wisdom. The distinction is absolutely crucial to his system.
So let's break it down. Information.
Information answers the basic questions: who, what, when, where. It's objective data. It's easily shared. He uses the analogy of a recipe.
Okay, a list of ingredients and steps.
Right. Anyone can read it. Knowledge, on the other hand, is the application and understanding of that information. It enters how and why.
It's subjective. It's human.
It is. It resides in experience. It's not the recipe. It's the great chef who just knows, by feel, how to adjust the recipe for the humidity in the air or the quality of the ingredients. He can't just transfer that skill.
So the path is clear. Data gets processed into information, which through application becomes knowledge, and then with ethical judgment, that becomes wisdom.
That's the ideal path. But this is where SKR drops one of the most, frankly, shocking assessments in the entire book. his information triage.
Yes, his breakdown of the world's available information pool, it's pretty bleak.
It is. He uses water analogies. And his claim right out of the gate is that 97% of all available information is illusion information.
97%. That's almost everything. What does he mean by illusion information?
He defines it as information with no meaning or no any logic behind it. It's the stuff people follow blindly in their daily lives.
Superstition.
Exactly. The belief that a black cat crossing your path is bad luck. The idea that you shouldn't travel in a group of 3. Or that something bad will happen if you go outside at exactly 12 a.m. or 12 p.m.
Things that have no logical basis but still govern people's behavior.
Billions of daily decisions are made based on this stuff. He likens this massive body of information to the ocean's salty water. It's everywhere, but you can't drink it. It's fundamentally useless for human development.
Okay, so if 97% is undrinkable, useless ocean water, what's left in the remaining 3%?
That 3% is split. He says 2% is negative information.
Which is?
This is information devoted to things like black magic, manipulation, or purely selfish desires. It's information designed to exploit other people.
So it has a purpose, but a harmful one.
Right. He compares this to fresh water in lakes or glaciers. It exists, but it's not immediately ready to drink. It might be polluted, it needs filtering.
Which leaves us with a tiny, precious fraction.
The final 1%, positive information.
This is the drinking water.
This is the pure drinking water of the world. This is the welfare purpose information found in the great holy books, the Vedas, the Guru Granth Sahib, the Bible, the Quran, and just as importantly, the knowledge gained through that intense internal wisdom process we just discussed.
So the whole point of that foundational unit is to teach you how to aggressively filter out the 97% of noise to focus exclusively on that potent 1%.
You have to. Otherwise, you'll drown in the salty ocean.
Okay, so we've laid the foundation, we've disciplined the mind, we've filtered the information. Now we transition into Unit 1, 10 Shades of the Legend Mindset.
Right. If Unit 0 is about clearing the land, this is about building the mental skyscraper. It's about synthesizing the best qualities from 10 very different roles.
And the first 3 mindsets form this fascinating paradox. You have to be a child, a monk, and a chess grandmaster all at once.
It sounds contradictory, but they're all about achieving a profound level of detachment and self-control.
So let's tackle the contradiction head on. View like a kid. We just spent all this time talking about escaping the kid in a toy shop mentality.
And the key difference is intentionality. SKR isn't saying be a child all the time. He says you should live the child phase for some time daily.
To what end? What are you supposed to get from that?
You're retaining the positive aspects. A child has what he calls a chanchal mind, a monkey mind, but in a good way. They're curious, they have immense patience for repetition, and their emotions are pure.
They cry with real sorrow, laugh with real joy.
Exactly. There's no filter, no agenda. Living this phase daily keeps the mind healthy, joyful, and emotionally honest. You embrace the innocent emotional expression while consciously rejecting the negative, materialistic attraction to toys.
So that pure, joyful part of the mind has to be balanced by an incredible amount of discipline. Which brings us to think like a monk.
This is the practical engine of self-empowerment in the book. The true monk practices this fierce, intentional detachment from everything. Possessions, ego, the need for approval. They cultivate stillness and solitude.
And he actually recommends this as a practice for everyone, right? A period of solitude.
He does. He suggests that everyone should try to live alone for a dedicated period. He recommends 1 to 3 years, to really find their own unique, universal rule for life.
It's like a boot camp for the self.
It is. It's designed to build such robust self-empowerment that you never need external motivation again. You stop looking for answers in books or from gurus and start generating your own.
He makes a point about fake monks, too.
A very important one. He says you can spot a true monk because they are healthy and slim. They've mastered the food attraction. The fake monks are the ones who are often overweight, seek followers, and talk constantly.
So once you have that inner clarity from the monk phase, you have to apply it. That brings us to lead like a legend, the chess grandmaster.
A legendary leader, according to this text, leads from the back.
Which seems counterintuitive.
Think of it like this. A legendary student might purposefully ask to go last in a class presentation. Why?
So they can see everyone else's mistakes.
Exactly. To observe the faults, the gaps, the weaknesses in every presentation that came before. The leader then leads by providing a solution that corrects all of those observed faults.
They have to be an overthinker.
An overthinker, not just a thinker. They're constantly running simulations, playing multiple games in their mind, to find the absolute best conclusion instead of just acting on the first good idea.
This intense focus on composure leads to that. Well, that very startling piece of advice on anger management.
It is startling. It's the ultimate self-control technique. If someone makes the legend angry, the legend does not react.
Not at first.
Not at first. They give the other person 3 chances to realize their mistake. But the question is, how do you manage that internal rage during those 3 chances?
This is where the wall punching comes in.
Yes. The legend is advised to visualize the enemy's face on a wall and punch that wall 3 times with full force.
That sounds incredibly aggressive for a self-control technique.
It serves 2 very specific purposes, according to the source material. First, it's a physical release valve. It vents that immediate surge of adrenaline and anger in a controlled, private way.
Okay, and second.
Second, and this is the crucial part, it allows the legend to understand the depth of their own strength and rage. By feeling that impact, they calibrate their own power.
So when they finally confront the person,
They approach them the next day with perfect calm and composure. The enemy has no idea of the volcano that was raging inside. It's only on the 4th mistake that the legend is permitted to react like a monster. It's an act of extreme, calibrated patience.
wow. Even the acronym for legend is intense. Legacy. Even God End, not by demons.
Suggesting the legend is born when that cosmic struggle is transcended.
Okay, moving on to communication. The next principle is listen like a leader.
And this really emphasizes that wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about absorbing information. A true leader listens to understand, not just to wait for their turn to talk.
They're listening for what's not being said, the unspoken cues.
Right. And they actively seek out all voices, even the quietest ones. The text says they respect everyone, from the CEO down to the sweeper, because they understand that every single role is essential for the system to function. Their focus is always work over talk.
And when they do talk, it's strategic, which leads to speak like a politician.
And we should be clear, this isn't a guide to manipulation. It's about effective, long-term, strategic communication.
So what does that look like?
The wise politician speaks to common ground. They use unifying language that brings people together, not polarizing language that drives them apart. They articulate a vision that spans generations, not just the next election cycle.
And the tone is key.
A measured, calm tone conveys immense strength and control. And crucially, SKR says the wise politician must never attack an opponent's personal life. They focus only on the merits or flaws of their work. It maintains the dignity of the debate.
Next, we have the principle of constant growth. Learn like a student. This is Shoshin, the beginner's mind.
And this is framed as a permanent state of being, not just a phase you go through. The expert's mind is often closed, right? It's full of rigid beliefs and old information. But the student's mind is open, ready to receive without judgment.
It requires a lot of humility, being able to say, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Immense humility. And this is where the text launches a really powerful critique of modern education.
The rat race.
The rat race of university toppers. He argues they often only succeed because they're good at memorizing information and following the rules someone else made.
As opposed to the wise student.
The wise student has to think out of the box. They might spend 3 times as long just observing raw information, trying to convert it into their own unique knowledge. The student phase, he says, should be a burning fire age for innovation. The goal is to become a job giver, not just a job seeker.
Okay, the final set of mindsets is about inner and outer sovereignty, starting with live like a king.
And again, this has nothing to do with money or opulence. It's about nobility of character and discipline. A king masters self-respect, composure, and vision. They're focused on a goal that's much bigger than themselves.
And health is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
The king's temple.
Absolutely, because leadership requires resilience, both mental and physical. And the acronym he creates for king is really telling. No internationally new god. The greatest kingdom you can ever rule, he says, is the kingdom of yourself.
And the outward expression of that inner kingdom is wear clothes like a model. This idea of enclothed cognition.
Right. Your clothing isn't just fabric. It's a cognitive tool. It's a form of nonverbal communication. It's not about expensive brands or high fashion.
It's about intentionality.
Perfect word for it. The focus should be on perfect fit, high quality, and simplicity. Simplicity is key because it removes visual noise and allows you, the person, to be the focus. He has a great quote. Fashion is not wearing lots of clothes, but wearing single clothes in many different ways.
Okay, and then we turn inward for what might be the hardest work of all. Forgive. Like a Gotti.
Forgiveness here is defined as a purely internal shift. It's not about forgetting what happened or condoning it. It's about releasing the emotional debt someone owes you. But you do it for your own peace.
You're taking your power back.
You are reclaiming your power from past hurts. The God-out acronym he uses here is Greatest of Dominion, which he defines as the universe.
Finally, the ultimate goal of all this refinement. Worship, like a devotee.
The entire purpose of worship in this system is internal transformation. It's about polishing your inner lens until you can see the true nature of your own soul.
Moving from the external form, the saguna, to the internal formless essence, the nirguna.
Precisely. Supreme worship isn't about rituals. It's about meditation and achieving inner clarity, free from resentment and ego. The true devotee turns their entire life into an act of worship by performing every action with total presence, seeing every task as sacred. That's what leads to the dissolution of the ego and true inner peace.
So that completes this incredible journey of internal self-mastery, the path from a chaotic, multifaceted mind to this single, powerful, neutral, zero mind.
Right. But SKR promised us a journey to infinity. So now we have to make this huge leap from the inner world of the self to the radical physics and mathematics of the outer cosmos.
And that's the link, isn't it? You can't grasp infinity until you've achieved zero.
That is the essential prerequisite. Only a mind that is free from the 97% illusion information, free from the chaos of multiple minds, can even begin to successfully grapple with the sheer scale and complexity of his cosmic theories.
You have to achieve zero before you can calculate infinity. Okay, let's do it. Let's enter Unit 2, the legend unique questions. And we start with a radical reinterpretation of time itself, the basic calendar of Earth humankind.
SKR takes the vast Hindu eras, the Yuga Setu, Glopurug, and so on, and maps them onto a real number line.
So past eras are negative numbers, future eras are positive.
And the most critical point is right now, the present, what he calls the zero era.
What does that mean, the zero era? What defines it?
It's a transitional interval. It is the specific period in time when the Earth must change its current shape, which is a geoid, that slightly flattened sphere, back to its original perfect spherical shape.
Why does it need to change back?
To recover, to heal from centuries of human-induced damage, exploitation, and imbalance.
And this isn't a gentle process. The source material talks about landform destructions.
Not gentle at all. He's talking about the earthquakes, the floods, the volcanic eruptions we see. He views these not as random disasters, but as the Earth physically correcting itself, shuddering back into its proper form.
It's a period of forced reckoning.
A necessary time for human realization. But the ultimate sign that the zero era is complete will be a fundamental shift in our planet's physics. SKR predicts that because of the reduced mass from all the resources we've used, the Earth's revolution period around the Sun will shorten from 365 days to exactly 360 days.
A perfect circle.
Signifying a perfect complete circle, the completion of the zero era.
That is a staggering prediction. And he doesn't stop there. He then challenges one of the most fundamental laws of science with his Earth construction and gravity theory.
He essentially dismisses gravity as we know it. He says it's not the primary force holding our planet together.
So what is?
His alternative is the Earth building theory, which posits that everything, the layers of land, water, air, is held in place by magnetic attraction. The Earth's core, he says, has a strong south magnetic field.
Okay.
And that strong south field is powerfully attracted to the vacant space outside our atmosphere, which holds a constant weak north magnetic field.
So the stability of our entire world is based on the attraction between the strong south core and the weak north void.
That's the theory. This attraction creates this immense inward pressure, he says. It's like squeezing a tennis ball. And that pressure is what keeps all matter in place and defines existence.
And his evidence against gravity is fire.
It's a beautifully simple observation. A burning fire goes up. It moves directly against the supposed pull of gravity. So he argues, there must be another force at play. That force is this magnetic attraction, combined with the mass of matter itself.
That's a huge pivot. It forces you to rethink everything.
And that willingness to redefine fundamental constants leads him straight into mathematics, where he tackles the most elusive concept of all, the value of infinity.
Trying to put a limit on the unlimited, how does he even approach that?
He observes that an infinite number of values exist between any two consecutive integers on the number line. He focuses specifically on the gap between 0 and +1. That's where the concept of infinity must live.
So he sees it as being bounded by 0 and 1.
Exactly. And based on that boundary condition, he concludes that the value of infinity is definitively 1. One represents the boundary, the container, that allows for the concept of infinity to exist in the first place.
Wow, okay.
Everything.
Then he takes the basic digits, 1 through 9, and builds this whole cosmic structure out of them.
A very complex internal structure. He groups them into families of 3 father, guru, and son, and then classifies them into columns. God, human, and demon, each with its own corresponding planets.
So for example, the God column.
Contains the digits 1, which is the father, linked to the sun, 4, the guru, linked to Jupiter, and 7, the sun, linked to Saturn. It implies that numbers themselves have an inherent cosmic character and destiny.
And he traces all this back to the number 1.
Yes, he states that 1 is the mother of the real number system. All other numbers, positive, negative, and 0, evolve from it. Add 1 to itself, you get all the positive integers. Subtract 1 from 1, you get 0, and then all the negative integers. Everything comes from 1.
And even 0 isn't simple in this system.
Not at all. He says there are 15 distinct types of 0, broken into 3 families of 5, again, God, human, and demon. And those 5 zeros in each family represent the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space.
And this forms the basis of the Varna system, not for society, but for the whole universe.
This mathematical framework is the essential foundation for his grand cosmological theory, the origin of universe, I theory.
This one is it's stunningly unique. It starts with the universe as a vast, empty room of pure oxygen.
A vacant room of pure oxygen. And because of what he calls the blockage imposed by infinity, which we just established equals 1, this oxygen started to convert into dust atoms.
Okay.
Then conventional gravity caused these dust atoms to gather at the center, forming a massive, rotating, hollow spherical ball. So now you have a rotating, hollow sphere filled with dust.
But where did the fire and stars come from?
The internal rotation of this giant sphere generates immense heat. That heat caused the remaining oxygen and hydrogen inside to combine in a 2.1 ratio and form water.
So the universe filled with water.
The continuous rotation then caused the water to boil, generating steam. But because the sphere is a closed system, the steam couldn't escape. It mixed back in with the boiling water, and over time, this process formed a thick, jelly-like carbon substance he calls coal.
The universe became a giant ball of carbon jelly.
Yes. And over eons, this jelly solidified into infinite numbers of megacoal substances. Finally, the collision of these giant solid coal pieces created the huge fire, the stars and suns that we see.
And since the whole sphere is filled with these lights...
SKR concludes that the final ultimate shape of a single universe looks exactly like a human eye, a black center surrounded by a bright white outer space.
That's one universe, but it's just the beginning. This leads to the truly mind-bending parallel universe, bead theory.
This is where he introduces the number 108, the number of beads in a traditional mala, as the fundamental cosmic multiplier.
How does he use it?
He starts with the Earth's original perfect spherical diameter, which he puts at 12,755 kilometers. Then he multiplies that by 108 over and over, scaling up until he calculates the diameter of one universe.
Which is?
An immense 17,353,036,306,848 kilometers.
Over 17 quadrillion kilometers for just one universe.
And that one universe is just a tiny piece of the ultimate reality, which he says is structured like a gigantic mala or prayer beads.
So how many universes are there in total?
The ultimate reality contains 3024 universes. That number comes from the 108 marble balls, or beads, on the Supreme Guru's mala, with each marble ball containing 28 universes within it.
And these 28 universes inside each marble ball, they're not all the same, are they?
Not at all. They're organized into a very clear cosmic hierarchy. This is where that cosmic Varna system he hinted at with the types of 0 really comes into play. The 28 universes are arranged across 3 distinct orbits.
Okay, let's lay out this cosmic hierarchy.
First, you have the God orbit, which contains 5 universes. These are likely characterized by purity, knowledge, and order.
Then the human orbit.
The human orbit,
Yep.
which contains 9 universes. And this is where it gets personal. Our own universe, which the author identifies as being black in color and defined by conflict and struggle, is the 9th universe. We are in the human orbit,
And finally,
the demon orbit, which contains the most universes. 14. This implies a cosmic social structure, a different destiny for each parallel reality based on its location in the mala.
so within this vast structured cosmos, where do aliens fit in? He has a whole section on aliens' home stars.
Yes, and he clarifies that many of those twinkling stars we see aren't suns at all. They are functioning alien colonies or homes.
And he sees them as guardians.
Highly intelligent guardians of the universe.
Mm.
And their perspective on Earth is fascinating. They see our planet as a mega zoo.
A zoo.
A zoo. They observe humans and all the other creatures as basically equal, all just animals, constantly fighting each other for survival in a chaotic environment.
So why don't they just make contact?
He says they are afraid to. They have weaker physical bodies than humans.
Hmm.
He describes them as 3 to 4 feet tall with bulky heads. They left Earth centuries ago because of constant human warfare and cruelty. They rely on mind power, not physical bodies, and our aggression makes direct contact too dangerous for them.
So they're watching from a position of intellectual superiority, but physical vulnerability.
Exactly. And he claims they maintain 2 unbreachable headquarters right here in our oceans, the Bermuda Triangle and the Dragon Triangle.
And what's their ultimate goal?
It's not conquest. Their goal is to communicate with the white world, with heaven, or the realm of the gods. They failed to do it on their own, so they are observing us, waiting and hoping that humanity, this unique ninth universe in the human orbit, can finally establish that cosmic link for them.
Okay, so we're turning now to the final section, Unit 3, the 5 Diamonds of Nations. After achieving the internal zero mind and understanding the infinite structure of the cosmos, SKR brings it all back home.
He grounds the entire philosophy in the practical elements needed to build a successful, developed nation. These are the 5 pillars, the diamonds, or the essential forms of capital that turn personal mastery into national prosperity.
The first diamond is the Constitution as discipline.
The Constitution is the institutional backbone. It imposes discipline in 2 directions. First, it disciplines political power itself. It defines and limits authority through the separation of powers and checks and balances. It prevents arbitrary, chaotic rule.
And second, it disciplines the citizens.
Yes. It outlines their rights, but it also explicitly outlines their duties. It channels conflict and dissent into lawful, productive avenues instead of letting them become destructive anarchy. It provides the moral structure that governs the chaos of a large society.
The next diamond is about the future. Kids as seed.
Children are viewed as the living seed of the nation. They contain the full potential of the future. So the quality of their cultivation, their upbringing, is the single most important national investment you can make.
This is human capital theory.
It's human capital theory in practice. Investing in early childhood development, love, education, nutrition yields the highest possible national returns. It guarantees cultural continuity and dramatically reduces future societal costs like crime. If you neglect this seed, you're planting barren fields for your future.
And following the seed, we have the force for change. Youth as weapon, the demographic dividend.
Youth embody the energy, the idealism, the adaptability that's needed for rapid transformation. They are a strategic force for economic growth, cultural influence, and technological innovation. They're an economic weapon.
But only if you invest in them properly.
That is the crucial caveat. SKR warns that if this demographic dividend is ignored, if you have massive youth unemployment or a lack of opportunity, it becomes a demographic bomb. The youth become vulnerable to radicalization, brain drain, and social unrest. All major historical changes, he notes, have relied on this strategic force.
The fourth diamond requires a big mental shift. Population as money.
This asks a nation to stop viewing its population as a cost or a strain on resources and start recognizing it as the true national currency, human capital.
So education and health aren't expenses, they're investments.
They're the most important strategic investments a nation can make. A healthy, educated, cohesive population is the most powerful engine of innovation and productivity there is. If you ignore this capital through brain drain or poor health, then your large population becomes a devastating liability instead of an asset that, as he says, appreciates with care.
And finally, the foundation on which all the other diamonds are built, nature as wealth.
Natural resources, our forests, our soil, our air, our climate. This is the original, non-renewable, and most enduring form of national capital.
It provides all these essential services we don't even think about.
Exactly. Ecosystem services like pollination, flood control, clean water. They are monetized, so they're ignored. SKR argues that conventional metrics like GDP are flawed because they treat nature as a free and infinite input.
So a nation can look like it's growing while it's actually going bankrupt.
Precisely. A nation that liquidates its forests for short-term profit might show GDP growth today, but it is effectively sacrificing its future wealth and guaranteeing eventual economic and ecological collapse. True, lasting wealth is found in resilient, well-managed ecosystems.
We have completed an absolutely extraordinary journey through SKR's The Legend Mind from zero to infinity. We went from achieving the zero mind through diet and observation to adopting the mindsets of a king and a monk.
To calculating the limit of infinity as one. analyzing the structure of 3024 parallel universes, and then grounding it all in a practical blueprint for building a nation.
And the consistent thread, the message that runs through every single unit, is that internal discipline dictates external influence. Self-awareness is the absolute prerequisite for any kind of cosmic understanding.
It's an overwhelming philosophy, but it is deeply integrated. The entire structure really does hinge on your ability to achieve that internal zero, that state of balance and neutrality, because that's what grants you the observational power you need to comprehend the infinity of the cosmos.
And if we really consider the sheer scale and the hierarchy that he presents in that bead theory, that our black, conflict-ridden universe sits specifically in the human orbit, the Vitius, of the cosmic Varna system.
Placed directly above the demon
It
orbit.
raises a really fascinating final thought for us to leave you with, one about our own cosmic responsibility.
Indeed. Our orbit, our universe, is defined by subtraction, by fighting for survival, by a constant need for correction and self-improvement.
So if our universe, positioned in the human orbit, struggles so much with aggression, with materialism, and with constant conflict, what kind of chaotic, unimaginable realities must the 14 universes in the demon orbit, the orbit defined by division, the Shudras, be facing?
And how does knowing our place in that cosmic hierarchy, redefine our own urgent responsibility for self-correction? If we are truly meant to be a step above that state of pure division, that is the profound final question SKR leaves for you to consider.